Okay, as you probably know, I have the ICOM 7300. I love it. Perfect for a home setup. Why another rig? Let me just zoom in a little bit. If you notice, I use my phone tripod, a little small one for my radio, and it works perfect. And it's cheap enough, like $20. Okay, I guess it's close enough for me to talk. Now, I needed a UHF model, mobile radio. Now, I was looking at buying a new one, but after checking the pricing and how these units come without a mount, without a plate, for all the various things, and the prices were crazy, and more or less half the price of the ICOM 705. And of course, the ICOM 705 has more capabilities than the mobile I was looking at. I had already sold all my other mobile units and was planning to replace it with another one, but I decided to use the proceeds towards this ICOM 705. And for the short period of time that I've had it, I love it. I'm glad I made that move. We also use the SDR control app. We have one for the Mac, we have one for the iPad and iPhone, which was another reason to stick to the ICOM 7300 and 705. I was very pleased with the Mac version, so hoping it would be the same with the 705 using the iPad or iPhone. There are a lot of differences I noticed, and my next video will cover that, but I have to say, in particular, I kind of like the iPhone more setup. It's because you always have your iPhone with you. And because this unit has Wi-Fi, no cables throughout. You just log into your Wi-Fi network, create a login with SDR control, network name and passwords, and you're now linked, which I will show that in a video. Every time you have a new radio, of course, you have frequencies, you have certain information that you want to have on your computer, which I do have quite a bit, especially to cover the areas that I travel. Yes, I could enter all this manually. There's videos showing how to do it manually. But what if you have 300 or 400? No. There is a much quicker way to import the info to the ICOM 705. Following this, I'll show you a video how to do this. As you know, ICOM provides a big list of DV repeaters from all over the world. So it's just a matter of loading this file. If your unit is missing, you can get this from ICOM Japan. There are 4 files, which I'll show you need to copy and where it goes in. It's also important when you're importing the files off the repeater book that you select repeater, and also when you load it on the ICOM, you select repeater, which I will show there shortly. So basically you're appending a whole bunch of repeaters to the file that ICOM provides. Keep in mind there is a limit. I believe it's 2,200 records. 2,200 or maybe a little bit more. And from my calculation, roughly 400 more spaces is available. So you want to keep that in mind. If you start adding more than 400, it gets truncated. It won't show up. Okay. In order to add the analog repeater list to your digital D-Star on your ICOM 705, first thing you do is you go to Repeater Book. Probably have to log in. I believe I'm logged in. Choose the country, and I'm going to use Alberta as a demonstration. And I'm going to select all, even though some of these bands are not supported by the 7300 or the 705. It doesn't matter because it will know the difference when we get to the next stage. So I want all the repeaters in Alberta. Okay. And there you go. It's a list. 215. The repeater lists, I believe the maximum about 2200. And the one that ICOM provides for the world leaves you about, I think, about 400. Okay, so now we go to export. This is an important step. ICOM, select 705. Now you have two options, memory channels and repeater lists. You want to select the repeater list. The ICOM DV repeater list occupies 20 groups. So you would want at least to select group 21, or you can go a little bit higher if you want to have some in between. I like to have the cities in alphabetic order, so location, cities, and in case there's more than one call sign in the city, the call signs will be in alphabetic order. And I certainly want the tone squelch if available. I agree, and I download. Okay. Now, let me show you what you see. Simple text file. It's comma CSV. The first line, of course, has the record name. Okay, and if you look at the list, even though there was some gigahertz or microwave region, if you want to call it, repeaters on there, it's not on the list because it recognizes what the 705 is capable of covering. So only if the 705 can do those frequencies will you see it. So now the next step. This is I made a copy of it, of the file that ICOM provides. These are DV digital stations, D-Star, Africa, Asia, Australia, Canada, Europe, Germany, a whole bunch of countries, Japan, United Kingdom, and of course US. Okay, so right here at the bottom is where we're going to start. Now the file that you created or downloaded from the repeater book, this is it right here. And notice it has the number 21 there. Basically, I do a select all, copy, and then I go back to the other file. I'm just going to do a space so it'll be easier to see. And I do a paste. Then I scroll up, get rid of the extra space and that group name. Save. And then you have to place it in a particular folder, which I will show you next. Two Finder folders. This ICOM 705 is actually a clone of the SD card that I currently have in my ICOM. Okay, empty. Here is the CV files, and here is called the repeater list. I just keep these extra ones, even though they don't belong. I'll just take them out for now. So this is what I actually have right here on the SD card. I have the original file that ICOM provides, which I'll show you how to get it, because it's possible that you may not have it. And this is the file that I modified. I had made a copy of this one, modified it, and I just call it DV and FM repeater. So this is where you would put it. Okay, I'll just put this back in here for now. Okay, these files that I've added, of course, is not on my SD card. I just keep it for a while until I'm finished with it. Now, there is a couple more things that I should bring out to you. This is where you put your BMP pictures if you want as a startup. And this is where your pictures will get saved, anything that you capture. And, okay, this is it right here. This is important, RPT Money. This is required for D-Star. It's actually a database. It's called Rep Money sample, but it's more than a sample. It's actually used, and you will need to get this file and put it in here. I will explain that again, where to get it from ICOM. If you have a version, I think it's 1.32 or older, definitely you won't have that file. It came with the update version of 1.32. Made a big improvement with D-Star. Very, very more friendlier. That'll be a video I will cover later. Okay. What I'm going to do is show you the site where to get this file right here. When you first got to your radio, you probably didn't have an SD. You put it in and you did a format. And basically you end up creating mostly an empty SD card. Unless you did a save first and then insert a different SD card, then loaded it, you may have regained that, but usually this doesn't want to happen. Okay, let me show you the site as to where you need to get that. The odds are you won't have it, or you Japan.com. Go to support and firmware driver. I'm going to enter IC 705. Okay, this is for the firmware, and here is the repeater list. Okay, this is the one we want. So let's go there.
You've got mail.
Oops, I got mail. Please ignore that. Okay, so there's two CSV files, a repeater list and a GPS for the 705. And then you have the repeater money sample and a setting data file. So those four files you need to install. And this. Okay, hold on. There we go. I had to scroll down a bit further. And you download it. And I'm going to open that file. Hold on. It should be zipped somewhere here. There you go. There's your four files. This file has to go into repeater lists. Oops, sorry. That's what I meant. Goes in. This one here goes to this folder. And then you have a settings file, which is this one right there. So we got the GPS, which goes in here. Oh, no, wrong. GPS goes in here. There you go. So put that in on your SD card, put it in your radio, and then you have to load some of these, which I'll show you a bit later. So that's the steps to update your ICOM 705 so that you have the DVD repeater list, along with, you modified it to have whatever other analog repeaters you want on that list. And the repeater Monty sample allows you to monitor DVD stations. You can kind of scroll when you're connected to the internet with D-Star. I'll go into details about that later. So it's a new feature. Makes great improvement. Okay, let's go to our ICOM. Okay, I'll show you that repeater monitor sample where it will show up. If I hit this button here, notice how it's blank because I haven't initialized it yet. But that's where it will show up, and you'll be able to monitor a whole bunch of online repeaters. Okay, after you've copied all the files on your SD card, you inserted the SD card on the side, you will go to Menu, go to Set, go to SD card, oops, I guess I just, there you go. I guess I forgot to scroll up. Hit the Import Export. We want to do an import. You want to select repeater list. The memory channel has a slightly different format, which you're going to have problems if it's not done right. So you go to repeater list, and there is my file right there. You would say yes, yes, yes. It will load. If there's any errors, it might tell you that, or if your file is kind of too big, truncated, it would mention that the files has been deleted. I already done it. If I was to continue, I would have to restart the radio. So we'll cancel for now. Okay, I'll just exit out. Now, let me show you what you will get. I'll hit Menu. I'll go to number 2. I go to DV, Digital Voice Memory. Repeater list. Let me scroll down. Notice that 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the files that ICOM provides, or the information. They stop at number 20. There you go. I have in there Alberta, Yukon, and Northwest Territory. And even though my file was spelled fully territory, it got truncated. I could have went NW territory, I guess, which is easy to change. If I hit Alberta, there they are. So it's all available from the repeater list, no matter where I am. And I do go to Yukon and out that way, so it's nice to know the repeaters there. That's it. Okay, I'm going to be ending this video shortly, but there's a couple of things I want to show. There's a call button right here. There is something that you need to keep in mind. Because it's such a small unit, physical buttons are not there, so there's a whole bunch of combination of touches. There's a light touch, there's a touch, and then there's a hard touch. You have to keep that in mind, and it takes a while to get used to it. So I do a light touch. It gives me the calling frequency that's programmed, which happens to be 446, but you can reprogram it to whatever you want. Okay, and then I turn it off, it takes me back. Now, if I do a long hold, it switches to DV. And I should probably go to scope. This way it will be a little bit larger. Probably could make it larger still, but I haven't got there yet. Just curious. There you go. There's the money. You can apparently scroll through different ones, and you can select the nearest repeaters. Gives you the mileage. Big improvement from previous use prior to 1.32. That would require a separate video. So let's go. I guess I have to cancel out of there first. I hold the button, gets me out of there. DV digital video, voice. It's basically like an analog. The only thing is it's digital, and there are a few repeaters where you can use that. Generally speaking, you can work weaker signals with digital. However, when it gets a little bit too weak, it sounds like you're talking like underwater. So it's a choice. Get used to that, or an analog signal if it's weak, lots of static noise, things of that sort. And what's nice too about all the DV stations, they use digital squelch. So you'll never hear a squelch opening up. So it is quieter for monitoring. I will also talk about channel, how to program channels. In fact, with the SDR control, it can use some improvements on there, but there's workaround. And I'll also show you the difference, that particular app on the iPhone, the iPad, and of course my Mac. And what's nice about it, not only do I can connect to any of my devices here, I can go to my better half's computer or her iPad or her iPhone and log in and control this, which I will show. Or in fact, as long as I'm connected to Wi-Fi with my phone and have internet, I can control this radio. I can listen, I can scan. Those are things we'll demonstrate later. This is more or less a quick intro, and usually the first thing you do, trying to learn how to use this, the touching. You gotta learn. There's 3 touches with a lot of them. Even this volume button. See, when I turn it, it's the AF gain. If I push in, then I have to select if I want. Oops, I took too long. Then I can adjust the gain, or I can adjust the squelch. Okay, and let that go out. And now I can turn up the volume. Okay, hit the squelch. Notice how there's no squelch noise. If I go to FM, there you hear the noise. There, around 30, 31 turns it off. Lots of little things like that. I notice online, a lot of them are 3 years, 4 years, 6 years old. These videos are outdated, a lot of information. But generally speaking, the interface itself is usually well covered. However, I notice a common, my cat wants something. I guess the common problem I find is how people accidentally select something and worked for them, and they try to select it again and it doesn't work. It's because they're doing a different type of touch: soft touch, medium touch, hard touch. Those are things that you have to keep in mind. Okay, looks like I have to cut this short. I have here a complaining cat. She wants out or something. If interested, please subscribe. If you have any questions, I will, if I'm going to be able to cover this with a video, I'll do so. Depending on the amount of interest, it depends on how many videos I will do on this unit. I'm behind schedule. Too many things to do and very little time at this time. But eventually we'll get it out there. So please subscribe. Please hit thumbs up so that I don't stay too invisible on YouTube. Have a nice day. Take care.